Hi, my name's Martha Patrick and I've got Miss Jabba here, who is an ex-racer. She raced until she was 8 years old, and since then I've had her. She's now 12 or just about to turn 12, and she hasn't really done too much. We've taken her quite slowly through her retraining progress, and we're jumping sort of British novice level now. I know pretty much everything about her, and trainers are really handy. They do tell you if they've had any problems with them, whether that's physically with injury or like sort of mentally if they've got some quirks or any issues that they've had. And I've been quite fortunate with Miss Jabba that she's had no issues. She didn't retire injured, she retired safe and sound. I think racehorses do get that stereotypical like label put on them that they're going to be crazy because they've been in racing, but there's lots of factors that change after they've come out of racing. Obviously their feed changes quite a bit, so when they're in racing they get quite high energy feed and fed up to 4-5 times a day. Obviously in real world riding you're only feeding them sort of twice a day, and it won't be anywhere near as much high energy feed as it would be for of them racing. So she is the best horse I've ever had to hack out on. She deals with everything from birds flying out at her to lorries going past next to her. She is not bothered or fazed by anything out on a hack. For her and a few other horses that I've ridden that are ex-race horses, I think their biggest sort of struggle is to be able to sit on their hocks and sort of allow the fence to come at them in a natural rhythm. They like to rush quite a bit and pick up speed, which obviously then makes them flat and have poles. It takes obviously a lot of time to be able to get them to start riding themselves uphill. Even though I have had her for a while now, that is something that she does still struggle with. I want to come away with feeling that we are more confident coming into probably more of our distances, and that she's not rushing off her corner feeling like she's got to get there at 10,000 miles an hour, because she doesn't. It isn't a race, and just getting her to become a bit more patient in herself really. Her main aim will be try and qualify for the national championships for the ROR League. ROR stands for Retraining of Racehorses, and I think that's a really good sort of step for her to take next year, and I think it's going to be something that we definitely can do and achieve, so it's going to be quite exciting.
Yeah, dealing with the ex-racers and you know, all types of different horses, but those guys in particular, I've learned so much in the last 5 years being based in this area, having seen a lot more of them. The things to deal with are the way they're made, the way they're built. They've got a huge engine, but that engine's designed to go in a straight line very quickly, which doesn't really enable them to sit so well in terms of what we want for jumping, so that's part of it. Also, the training that they have been in, they've been in big groups, they've run together, they go fast in a straight line. So to actually go into the arena on their own, to go into a twisty, winding, rhythmical course is a real challenge for them. The other thing I've found is the different jump shapes that these guys have is interesting. So if they've raced on the flat, you tend to get, normally they're a little bit more sensible in a way because they haven't been raced over fences. And some of them have a really, really good jump and actually really organise themselves well. Some go a little high, and a lot of them go quick across the ground, quick across the fence. They'll land a long way into a distance. If I would walk takeoff and landing spots at a fence normally of 2 and 2, you'll find that your racehorse may land at least 3 yards into a distance, which brings its own set of issues as well. Generally, they are really, really nice horses. The difficulty comes when they come out of a big yard, a little bit institutionalised with a lot of things going on around them, very strict routine, to then bring them into a private setup or a more relaxed setup. They can have habits of slight stress until they realise that they can relax into their everyday life, and they might do something different every day, not the same thing every day. But generally they're very well mannered because they have had to have been, and they've learned so much from a very early age. So they're generally very, very professional horses to handle and to deal with. When getting an ex-race horse, initially the trainers are very helpful in giving information about the horse, and I would certainly suggest getting that assistance and that help right from the word go, so that from the beginning the horse can learn to be retrained in the correct way. And also they are fantastic characters, great horses to work with, but they have been under a racing saddle more than they will have been under a normal saddle, and that whole transition period is really good if you have the help and support and the guidance to do it. And that's where the Retraining of Racehorses charity can be so helpful. There's so many opportunities for training, of different types of training through them, as well as making sure that your own coach can help you along the way. With Martha specifically, it's getting some consistency into her work. Actually, her little horse is very willing, very enthusiastic, but in a good way, and she really wants to do the job. Her jump shape is one of those that actually goes higher than she needs to, and doesn't always tuck the landing gear up as well as she might. So it's actually working with quite a big jump, and as well as being able to direct the horse successfully through her turns, and especially coming out of turns into straight lines where that instinct to get quicker really kicks in. So it's about Martha's confidence in herself to ride the horse, because I think the horse has it all there. We just need a little more consistency in the partnership. I would like you just to let her loosen up, give her a trot around. You can have a canter on both reins if you'd like to.
Okay.
And then we can have a look. I can observe what you have going on underneath you today, and we can do a little bit of a discussion on that. We know the goals we'd like to work towards today.
Yeah.
I believe. Do you want to tell me what they are?
I'd like her to be able to be more balanced on her hocks, and to be waiting more for the fences to come to her in a rhythm, instead of her rushing to the fence.
Okay. So could we agree a goal of balancing your turns?
Yeah.
Yeah? And also looking at being able to hold your balance across a straight line?
Yeah.
Good, okay. I have some exercises I thought would be useful for that already, including some lateral work. All right, a little bit of leg yield. How good are we at that? Is that daunting?
That's hard for her, but it's just a strength thing for her.
Okay, good. All right, whoop, hello. Very scary chairs.
And apparently Misty's spooky today.
So as I said, just spend a couple of minutes, work on both reins, have a small canter left and right as well, and just give me a chance to observe.
Go.
All right, good girl, Martha, thank you. Whoop. Didn't mean to shock you. Good. So how happy are you with what you have underneath you today?
It's a bit spookier than normal, but she does feel like she's like her normal self, really, just is looking around more than she would normally.
To be honest, I wouldn't even worry about that for a second. You're just unfortunate where she caught her eye on the chairs and then they became a monster. The reaction I'd like you just to have to that is to not make a big deal about it like you did, just ignore it.
Yeah.
If you're coming on your sides anyway, and that was just what I was observing, was straightness.
Yeah.
Okay. As well as the ability to hold her balance, or what we have already. Just ride slightly away from the track anyway at all times.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go on and have a look at riding through a channel of poles I've made for you to get straight, as well as riding through a curve on a distance up there to see how the rhythm works. So a really good opportunity actually to stay away from the scary edges of the arena.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I would suggest we just check that girth again before you jump. Sure if you... Yeah, it definitely needs to go. Definitely when you leant down there. As a rule, in her paces, in her canter,
Yeah.
how would you describe the way she goes?
She's got quite a natural good rhythm.
Yeah.
But when a fence seems to get involved in that, it gets all excited and it starts to rush.
It can become erratic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're looking for some consistency.
Yeah.
Definitely. In the way she's made, and she's doing a really nice demonstration for us here, she's such a lovely little horse,
Yeah.
but she has got a big engine in a typical thoroughbred
does.
way. And that engine is actually relatively high. I know she's 11, 12 years old, so she's certainly not growing anymore. But the engine, this is what I've just observed, seems to throw her a little bit onto a forehand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and that would be normal, wouldn't it? Is that what you find?
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so we can't change her conformationally, but what we can do is educate and continually educate her to be able to just take a little bit of weight over the hocks, over the hindquarters, and allow those back joints to take some energy downwards to then help us take it upwards,
Yeah.
rather than in a long straight
Flat.
line. That's what we're always going to be working with.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, so we'll keep that in mind. So just to make a start, on that long side, very, very simple, channel of poles to ride in between. All right, could you, just for me, which rein do you prefer?
It doesn't matter either.
If we start on the right rein,
Okay.
get up a canter and just come and ride in a nice straight line in between that channel of poles, and use the poles as a marker for your mind
Yeah.
to look ahead, look straight,
Okay.
and actually, just ride a straight line from one end of the arena to the other,
Yeah.
with no walls to lean on.
Okay.
I did notice, especially on the left rein, we were falling out.
Yeah.
Is that a normal thing?
Definitely.
Could you just be conscious of you? Yeah, think about yourself. Make sure that your legs are on equally, you've got equal weight in your seat bones, and that you've fixed yourself a point to look towards to ride in a nice straight line. Literally canter right through that channel.
Okay.
All right, and we'll do that twice. Good girl. How many out of 10 for that?
Probably a 7.
A 7. How can we make it a 9?
Come off my corner better.
Okay, let's do that. And was that your 9?
Yeah, I was much happier with that.
What did you do that made it better?
I made a squarer corner.
Ah, okay, so in square, thinking pivot turn,
Yeah.
thinking using what kind of aids?
My inside leg to outside hand.
Okay, so getting into the bend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so inside leg into outside rein actually would make a rounder turn. So did you get the outside leg on?
outside leg to inside hand.
Okay, sorry, other way around, I'm with
Yeah.
you. Okay, so you did use more outside leg.
Yeah.
Brilliant, okay, good girl. Now, super, really good, nice and straight. I agree with you. The corners are the things that we need to look at, because obviously they will allow her to come out the turn with the hind quarter, engaged a little bit more.
Yeah.
So really simply, let's change direction, go on the left,
Okay.
ride back up in between that channel,
Yeah.
all right, and do the same good quality corner. Then I'm going to ask you to carry on into the 2 green poles at the top.
Okay.
All right, now they're set on a curve.
Yeah.
There are 18 yards in between the 2 middle stripes, if you
Okay.
like, on the arc. How many canter strides would you expect to get in there?
4.
Exactly. So 4 canter strides over poles if you ride from middle to middle.
Yeah.
What will happen if you drift out?
It will be a longer.
And if you straight line it?
It'll be tight.
Exactly. So it's about your accuracy,
Yeah.
as well as creating bend in the horse,
Okay.
maintaining rhythm through your turn.
Yeah.
So if you pick up on the left rein, and again, just do that exercise twice for me so you've got something to compare.
Yeah.
All right, and go, make sure also, Martha, when you ride away, just to be disciplined, when you ride away from the second pole, we're not kind of cannoning into the long side. We stay well off that edge of that arena.
Yep.
Okay, good go. Good job. All right, super. Be aware of your left hand when you're coming out of the corner. If we could transfer a bit of power into your right leg, your outside leg, be more effective. All right, good. Let's take a breather. Well ridden.